Every river tells a story, but none quite like this one. The Mississippi doesn't just carve land, it carves culture. And here, where the river bends and the moss hangs low, a world unlike any other took root. A world where language, food, music, and faith swirl together. Spicy, soulful, and proud. For those born here, it's simply home. For the rest of us, it's a culture shock. Welcome to Louisiana.
Oh, this is Asher. One thing that's really unique in the French Quarter is that they have these iron-barred balconies, and they can sit up there and watch what's going on in the road. And even though they're very thin, they still get a lot of use.
To understand Louisiana, you have to meet the people who carry its culture in their bones. People like Michael. He grew up here, surrounded by a language most Americans never hear, but that once echoed through every corner of this land, Cajun French. For Michael, it wasn't history, it was home. But as he got older, he realized that what was normal for him was disappearing for everyone else.
Seeing French and people speaking French you would see it on TV sometimes, and people would use French phrases. Everyone spoke English as well. It wasn't like everyone was speaking French. You went into the countryside, a lot of times you would hear French in the gas stations, and people just speaking French at Walmart or something like that, Yeah, it was normal for me, right? But it wasn't until I left even different parts of the state, or went to different parts of the state, but really when I went outside of the state, I just realized, wow, Louisiana is really a different place. Codeville was founded by John McKiffin, the governor of Louisiana at that time. Well, it was actually the legislature that started it, but it was under John McKiffin's governorship, and I think it was identifying that we're losing the French language in Louisiana, and what can we do to continue that French language and continue that something that's only really found in the United States, in Louisiana, this French culture and this French language that's still here. We've lost a lot of numbers of French speakers for sure, but we're still fighting to continue the French language and continue that part of Louisiana culture that, it is important. Codeville really helps in recruiting teachers, making sure their visas are online, and working with the federal government to make sure that all those visas are, in place. And its goal is to promote French within the state of Louisiana. Our main push is for French immersion schools. We have 30 some odd French immersion schools throughout the whole state of Louisiana. We have some all the way in Shreveport, Lake Charles, New Orleans, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, of course, the Acadiana area, all through Louisiana. But we're always looking for partnerships with schools, with school boards, and to try to teach our young people French. And when my grandfather passed away, and realizing going to a funeral and how much French we've lost in my family, I kind of really took it serious, and so I would learn French wherever I could. Listening to French music, listening to Cajun music, listening to TV shows in French, all these different things. I went to Canada for 5 weeks in an immersion setting, and I really enjoyed it, and just became a passion of mine. And so that's kind of basically where it started. For me, I love gumbo, of course, crawfish boils, those type of things. That I noticed that cooking jambalaya, big black pot with jambalaya. There's a lot of events and a lot of things that are centered around food, but it's not just food to eat, it's food to bring the community together and visit and talk face to face, and not, we live in a society that's so digital now. There's a lot of different festivals that bring people together. There's even nice farmers markets within the state, in Acadiana in particular, and other parts of the state. But, Festival International is a really good one. Festival, the Cajun Creole, is a really good one in the Lafayette area that showcases some of those cultural things that we've been talking about. But yeah, one of my favorites is just having a crawfish boil, and peeling the crawfish and the time it takes to eat it gives you time to visit with your friends. If you want to experience a type of French culture, you don't have to leave the United States. You can come to Louisiana. and you can see what it's like. You know, it may not be the exact, tourism experience of the Eiffel Tower and those type of things, but it will definitely be a different culture, different music, different foods.
For Michael, this culture is inherited, carried through language, memory, and flame. But for people like Tyler, Louisiana was never part of the plan. He came from Pennsylvania, where things were colder, quieter, and a whole lot less spicy. What he found here was different. It was a whole new world.
Alex, do you not cook?
I cook a little bit.
You never
Nothing.
Onion, though?
No, I don't get that fancy.
You don't get that fancy.
College-
What do you do for
college
Pillsbury
meals.
Onion?
Wait, what?
What do you do for Pillsbury Onion?
Nothing.
Add onion powder.
Get it pre-made. My name is Tyler Harden, and I'm from Scranton, Pennsylvania.
What were your first impressions of Louisiana when you arrived?
Very hot, humid. The people are much more laid back. Just a slower lifestyle, a very slow pace. You know, I could kind of find myself just really like wanting, like, let's get this done now. And everybody's like, oh, it'll get done very slow. Definitely Mardi Gras was kind of that. Just, you know, how proud everybody was of that, and you know how different it was. Like before coming here, I thought Mardi Gras was one day, and turns out it's like a month and a half. So that was really crazy. And you know, just seeing how, you know, festive it was and how bought in people were, like that was like, you know, really a time I felt like an outsider, because I didn't really understand all of that and really had that like genuine attachment, you could say.
Thomas, we're on Magazine. We're following Toth right now. We're headed to the France. Happy Mardi Gras.
Tyler's real introduction to Louisiana didn't happen in a classroom or a kitchen. It happened on the streets, where the music never stops and the culture spills into the air like confetti. Mardi Gras wasn't just a celebration, it was a full-blown awakening.
Crawfish was like, that was an experience. It was definitely like really, really spicy for me. In Pennsylvania, we don't have like spicy food like that, so that was definitely different, but it was very good. I wouldn't say I hated anything here. It's a lot of like the same stuff, just in different forms. Like it's a lot of rice and then just like crawfish or shrimp or things like that kind of mixed together. So in different ways. So I wouldn't say I hated everything. It was just like the spice was, you know, really kind of took me for a whirl.
In Louisiana, food isn't just fuel, it's family, history, and identity served hot. Every stir of the roux, every dash of cayenne, carries generations of tradition. For Tyler, this wasn't just cooking, this was cultural immersion, one spoonful at a time.
Don't look at the camera. Stop! Oh my
Damn!
Actually, I used to take crawfish. I used to take liquid crawfish boil.
Well, you should get a spoon.
I still do if I have it. I put liquid crawfish boil on my Monday.
Oh my god.
Really?
Eat it?
I don't want to eat it yet. I'm scared.
Okay,
Can
but
you
we
eat it
all
first?
eat it.
Dude, you gotta mix that.
That's why I put so much stuff in it. It's not spicy. Okay, now it tastes good.
I guess it's just spicy.
There's a lot. A lot of like the cities here are really hard to pronounce, like Atchafalaya and Opelousas and Chaptools, things like that. Like, I remember when I saw like a lot of those words for the first time, like I was like, man, how do you pronounce that? And like when somebody would pronounce it, I'd be like, you know, there's no way that it's said like that. So I mean, that was really cool though. You know, just a culture that I've never really been, you know, exposed to. And then when you're actually exposed to it, you realize like, man, like this is really different from where I grew up. I say y'all a lot. I mean, it's not really like, you know, intentional. It's just kind of like you hear it so many times and then you start saying it and you don't even really realize it. So I'd say that's one for sure. Yeah, I still feel like an outsider, but I'm proud of that, obviously, because, you know, I feel like down here I learned to wear Pennsylvania on my sleeve like I never have. And I really take pride in where I come from. I, you know, love educating other people on where I come from and what makes that unique, because I find it cool to learn about Louisiana in that same way. So yeah, I've definitely, you know, I'm still an outsider, but like enough to where I could still relate to people from down here. Yeah, I wanted to, you know, go somewhere that I've never been to Louisiana before. I visited LSU for the first time. Just really wanted to go, you know, somewhere completely different from Pennsylvania, somewhere with a rich sports culture, and somewhere where I can excel in my field.
And for Josh, who grew up miles away on a quiet Illinois farm, it was all a bit overwhelming in the best way possible.
Well, back home, I live on a farm, and I graduated in a class of 46. My whole town's like 2,000 people, if that. It was just really lonely. Like, you could probably see like 3-4 houses like at different spots on my property. So coming here, like, I've seen more people than I've ever seen in my life. Like, I've been to like concerts and stuff. It's just insane, and like the diversity is more than I ever would have had in Polo. Oh, the heat was killing me. Every time I'd step outside, I would be drenched. It looked like I get out of the pool. So that was probably my first like awakening to the South.
For Tyler, the shock came with spices and parades. But for Josh, it started with the heat. A small town farm kid from Illinois, he stepped into Louisiana expecting slow, maybe even simple. What he found was bigger, louder, and far more complex than he ever imagined.
People, like going to the Welcome Week events, it was insane. Like, I actually had never seen that many people like all like for one thing. It was just interesting. I knew the culture would be like just different to anything I'd experienced. Like, and you got people who do like accents and stuff I'm not used to, and the food's way different. Like, Midwest is all cheese. Like, here it's like spicy seafood.
Oh my god, this is my shit.
I would say I like comment on the food much because I haven't ate a lot of it. I'm just like, I'm a really picky eater, so I still have like Midwest like taste. I was surprised, like, because I knew like the EAU ending for like French, and I was like the go was like EAUX. So I was wondering where the X came from. But, like, I was always curious about like where that French like came into LSU at, and like probably from this class is how I've learned the most about it. Like, we had to do a project about the like, French-speaking people here, and that was interesting to me because I didn't really realize how much influence that it had down here over like the whole state, because there's like you get French on the like welcome signs here. Like, it really is like a thing the state has embraced, and it was just interesting, a little odd, I guess.
Like many outsiders, Josh didn't expect to find French woven into the streets of the Deep South. But in Louisiana, it's everywhere. From the way people spell go to the names that twist your tongue. The deeper he looked, the more he realized. This state hadn't just preserved its past, it had embraced it.
Oh, I thought it was gonna be a bunch of Hicks. Like, just like conservative, like Southern language. Maybe they're a little dumb. But like coming here, it hasn't really been that. I haven't really met anyone like that, I'd say. Like, it's just, I feel like LSU, especially being like I'm on the campus, like, it's so just diverse. You get people from everywhere. So I guess maybe I haven't had as much exposure to that as like just traveling to Louisiana would have. But like being at LSU, like, it's a little bit I've had of like exposure. It's just different to anything else.
Back home, Josh was told Louisiana would be backwards, slow, maybe even stuck in the past. But the moment he arrived, those expectations unraveled. What he found wasn't a stereotype. It was a state alive with diversity, energy, and soul.
Drivers here are horrible. No one uses the turn signal. There's no parking anywhere. You get cut off trying to park. I think someone hit my car once. I'm not sure because there's already a dent where I might have gotten hit, but it was at least great. So I just think the people here are horrible at driving. I have some friends that like are from the South, and they're just weird. Like, they almost seem like too nice. Like, I'm from like the middle of nowhere, so people are still pretty kind. It's not like too different from home. Do I ever want to just go back home and stay there? No.
Definitely be open to it. Definitely have an open mind, and if you're a person that likes to try things, there's plenty to try down here. There's always an experience within everything in Louisiana. So I mean, I've had a ton of cool experiences that I wouldn't have had anywhere else. by coming here. So it's definitely been a fun ride. The one-of-a-kind culture. You know, people say like it's a culture you can't find anywhere else, and that's definitely true. Like, you know, I've been a lot of places in this country, and there's no culture like Louisiana. And you know, that might sound cliche, but it's definitely true. Like, you only find the food here, you only find the way of life here, you only find like, I mean, how the way they celebrate Mardi Gras here, like you only find a lot of what makes Louisiana, Louisiana, you only find it here.
Louisiana is more than a place. It's a rhythm, a recipe, a reunion. The land gives us the bayou. The people gives us the flavor. In every boil, every note of Zydeco, every bit of etouffee, you don't just taste culture here, you live it. This is a state stitched together by history and kept alive through celebration. You'll hear it in our music, you'll smell it in our kitchens, and if you stay long enough, it might just change you too. Because here in Louisiana, we don't just let the good times roll, we live them.